I know you got that. I know you got that link queued up.
Yeah,
I unlock.
I did.
I'm afraid. I'm gonna
Let
hear it.
me
It's gonna
adjust it. Can you not hear
just
the
scare
bot?
attention. No, I can hear it.
Okay, I thought you were saying you couldn't.
Oh no, this isn't red, just something else.
Alright. So, we're doing this. Savior!
Hello, and welcome. Hello, and welcome to my job fair.
Truly. Um, how do you slash Shoshen want to go about this? Do
I don't
you...
know. The way I've been discussing bring us up because I've been like, Juice, let me tell you about my dilemmas. Let
Mm-hmm.
me tell you about my problems in D&D specifically. And I'm like, I'm going to get visited by the ghosts of Desico, evil, neutral, and good, and I have to deal with that.
Mm-hmm. And do you desire for... Oh no, 1 sec, I salute you, King. Hey, Savior, how you doing? Get a load of this guy. I saw what you messaged me. Whore. Whore affectionate. Yeah. Damn.
Might be.
No, you're all good. No,
The cutting words.
the cutting words of Esme Clausey. You know?
Yeah. I didn't know how you necessarily wanted to segue into this, considering it was like
Well, that's what I'm asking
one
you.
guy.
Do
The
you
one guy rolled up.
wish for Shoshin to be approached, or would you prefer for her to approach Quail and be like, "Hey, can you connect me once more?" Because I would love
I don't
for
know, because like,
Shoshin to feel
go
some
ahead.
agency in this, but also if you like the spooky dream visitations better, we can do that.
I assumed they were gonna spookily visit me in my dreams anyways.
Not all these
Like, this
people
was kind of their
are
style.
not all these people are just like on the hunt for a person.
I know at least one of them is really good at manifesting, like
Yeah, but you want to meet the
I guess
others too,
technically.
don't you?
Yeah. The other one's just gonna roll up and be like, hello.
It is not Papa. Or well, it is a person you have referred to as Papa. Depends what you refer to many people as Papa. Yes. You get to see more of him. But so you're hoping to speak to the one that has already rolled up to before Ned, or would you like to speak to all three in turn?
I think let's get the spread, if possible. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what kind of time you're on, because I know, work,
I
sleep,
don't give a
that
shit.
sort of thing.
I don't give a
Well,
shit.
you know, I got I gotta weigh my options a little bit. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of, I gotta make a not worse decision than before.
All right.
I think that's I don't know how difficult that is to do. We'll figure that out.
Pick
Um,
pick one, two, or three.
three.
Three. Alrighty. Hold on.
I hear him typing.
I'm
We'll see
I'm
how my fight or flight response reacts to this one.
I'm getting something better. Hold on.
It had better not be from a game I know with cards in it.
I don't know what you're talking about. Hold
I
on.
do.
Fuck. I forgot that this bot is the weird one. Or no, is it? It is, isn't
I'm
it? I can't remember. Let me see.
I'm keeping Deep Root Basin closed. Idle the jump scare me when it happens.
Well, I have to clear the queue. Music. Queue. Clear. Slash. Music. Play. Slash. Music. Skip.
I don't remember how it starts. We'll see. It'll take a second here.
This is not the one you're thinking of.
Okay. Never mind.
Um, but, uh, you, um, you,
It's scary in a different way. They were right.
Shoshen, you are, we'll say that this is after, what you have witnessed, all those things, you've headed back to the manor. Chimchar, please, please don't lay on my keyboard. Um, the others have congregated in the kitchen to discuss things, figure out what's going on, maybe eventually speak to the person who has passed out, all the good things. I saw that, Savior. And as you're walking, there is this impression of like somebody just watching you in passing, not like staring, but just kind of like idly watching your movement, not approaching you, but there's this distinct impression of something is off, something slightly jarring and unnerving.
Hmm.
No. No. Hold on. Get this
Oh no,
motherfucker out of here.
We're back in the creepy pasta.
Yeah. I fucking hate this bot. Saver,
My pasta's creeped.
you want to do me a favor and go invite that other bot that I have in Communist? I will kiss you. Thank you, King. A much better performing bot. But it is lingering, and there is something about it that feels distinctly jarring and not natural. Not necessarily, not necessarily in like a this is spooky way, but in like a this feels incorrect way, you know?
I feel like those can be the same thing.
Yeah, they can be the same thing, but they're not necessarily the same thing.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'll just invite it, Savior. I appreciate you. Oh, can I invite it? Oh, no, I can. There we go. Authorize. I am, in fact, an admin. That's so crazy. No, don't make me look at guitars.
The worst thing that could ever happen.
Truly. I'll give a shit, Hydra. What would you like to do, Shoshin?
And I try and find whoever, like, who's trying to watch me. Like, because if they're trying to look, like, if I feel like the presence of something weird trying to, like, watch me, I should be able to, like, find it in concept.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I won't make you pull up your sheet for this. Uh,
But believe me, I know my perception.
yeah,
I,
then yeah, roll perception.
oh, actually, let me double check. It's like 2 seconds. I got the app. I'm pretty sure it's a +9. No, I think it's gonna be, no, it's +7 because I get the plus, it's +7. I know it.
Work.
15.
Uh, then are you trying to be subtle about it, or are you just gonna about face and go for it?
I don't care. I'm looking. If someone, if they're gonna stare, you know,
Hell yeah.
had enough of one.
You see a person wearing simple clothing, nondescript shirt, pants, belts, a long coat, and a scarf. What's noticeable about them is there is this almost faint, very, very faint distortion to them that maybe at a quick glance you wouldn't think is odd, but as you linger, Shoshin wouldn't know what this is, but Ned, you do. It's the flicker of old timey film. This person is cast in near black and white, with this kind of flickering aura that reminds you of old black and white film. It's got kind of a green tone to it, and he, as it is a man, is just idly watching you with these kind of magenta eyes, and a what little you can see of his skin other than his face is heavily scarred. And I will post an image in Peanut Gallery, though I will be deleting it shortly.
Oh, wow. You know, I got scars too, man. Ain't that just the way?
So true. He does not say anything. He is watching you, but you feel like you somewhat recognize him from when you were shown the three options that Quail was able to find at the time for you. You, however, because you only chose to focus on a veil the time before, you can't determine which one he was of the other two you saw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. I have a vague recollection at best of the other two like descriptors, but
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. You know, we ball. Um,
Truly. It's almost like it's vague on purpose.
yeah. Well, and also my memory is not very good, but yeah, ain't that just the way? Um, can I guess, like, because I've already like, whipped around, just like, stared at the man, just
Mm-hmm.
staring back at me.
He's just kind of like evenly holding your gaze, but if you're not saying anything and just looking at him, he's kind of standing in like a dark, not like dark corner, but shadowed. Uh, and when you hold his gaze and don't initially say anything, he takes a step back and to the side, as if a gesture of, "Come over here, we'll talk."
You know, gonna get probably murked by Thorpe Band in a dark alley. May as well get murked by some random guy in
This
a
is
dark alley,
this isn't an alley. This is a hallway in the manor.
in a dark hallway in a manor. Well, I can still get murdered there. I've seen Clue. I've played Clue.
I've seen Knives Out.
Yeah, I've seen Knives Out. You can die in a manor.
uh, do you say anything as you enter, or still say nothing?
I guess, I mean, honestly, probably just wait for him to say anything, considering.
As you like kind of enter this space, you can still kind of see your friends continuing on to the kitchen, but they almost seem to slow for a moment. And this very low grade white noise fuzz becomes audible to you as you are kind of in this bubble of not quite non existence, but existing briefly outside of time. Uh, he slowly inclines his head to you. Miss Quietus, I believe you sought to speak with me in some form.
Uh, maybe? I don't really know who you are. I'm sorry.
I'm not one to beat around the bushes. My name is Morden, but others might call me Mercy.
So you're, um, a Desico, I assume, then.
Hmm. Astute.
Well, that's really all the, people I've put out feelers for lately, I guess. So,
And why have you put out feelers, if you will? I would have thought most of your vocation would prefer not to have an encounter of this sort.
that's kind of the problem. I'm trying to get away from the band. I find many of their policies don't agree with where I'm at presently.
You want to quit your job, is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, the problem is they're not the best about letting people quit. So it kind of takes some outside help.
Hmm. And tell me, I'm not omnipresent. I don't know all as opposed to others. He kind of like steps a bit closer to you, into your space as if like inspecting you slightly. He's just shorter than you. Um, and says, "What should lead me to believe that this is genuine? How can I know that this is not some elaborate trap? You have called me away from a very important matter, after all."
Well, considering, um, I guess events of earlier, which I guess you wouldn't know, basically, well, I mean, with where we are, this the mansion belonged to the Onyx clan. Um, the Thorn Band is kind of uh disagreeing with them presently, and as a result, uh, it's if I was in better graces with them, I probably would not be here. And I don't really know if there's any other way I could, considering I've worked for long enough trying to, I guess, play both sides in an attempt to not draw any attention from the band. It's a little hard for me to, I guess, definitively show anything more concrete as far as my wanting to get away from that.
Because you see, the thing is, Miss Quiet, is just because you are opposed to the band does not mean you are necessarily my ally. I just recently lost an ally after all, and I'm not eager to risk losing another. And in the kind of fuzzing white noise sound, for a moment there's a sound underneath it that's clearer, and you almost viscerally remember sticks up on the platform and the sound of the splatter of blood, and the shocked silence that followed.
She kind of pales a bit and then nods. I'm sorry. I didn't want that to happen. My allies and I tried to recover them, but with uh, Volkov being there, it was out of our hands a bit.
I understand. I do not blame you. It would be foolish to do so. There's plenty of others at blame. What do you think of, well, when I say mercy, what do you think of, Miss Shoshen? What is your idea of being merciful?
Guess the best I've got is the Desico that took my eye. They could have killed me, but chose not to, for whatever reason.
And do you consider that a mercy? Or would maybe your life have been simpler if it had never happened in the first place?
I don't think it was a mercy I would have afforded to them in the same position. But I don't deny the fact that having that happen to me was what opened my eyes more to what was going on. But I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It is simply is, I suppose.
I'm not one of future sight, but the one who took your eye. And again, under the sound of the fuzz, you almost can hear the swing of the blade and the shocked silence that followed after of yourself. But, well, the one who did this to you has done quite a crime. People hear mercy and think maybe kindness, thoughtfulness, being good to those around you, and I think of it more as sparing the world from the greater evils, getting rid of them before they can do things like this. He gestures towards your eye. The one who did that to you escaped my mercy, and I do seek him. Is that a hunt that interests you? Are you ready to be a hound, or are you just a lapdog?
Thing is, I'm not sure anymore, considering I don't know if it's better to just move on, given how Jessica just are. It's, I mean, you're not really people or anything. You're your own thing. I don't mean that in any disrespectful way,
Hmm.
simply from the standpoint of I believe at least you all view the world from your own perspectives. And is it really worth for someone to who's viewed as essentially an insect in the eyes of a greater power to try and stand against them when I've realized I have things to lose now? There are things I care about, and there are people I care about that I don't know if I want to give up my life
Perra.
for something if that I don't even know is something I'm capable of or even would be capable of.
Hmm.
While obviously I don't want that type of thing to happen to anyone else in the future, um, it's also helps me realize being with my allies that there are other ways I can improve things besides rushing headlong into conflicts where I'm liable to lose my life. Um, we can we've helped a lot of people, I think, and I think we can keep doing that. It doesn't have to be a case of pitting myself against something far greater than I for the slimmest possibility of actually doing anything.
Beta, I believe you misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not asking you to try and go toe to toe with something like contrition. I'm asking you to find contrition. Hunt him, and I will take care of the rest.
I
I,
understand.
do you understand? Hmm. You say we are not quite people with our own perspective. I agree with that. I'm not sure what you have and haven't heard. Again, I'm not omnipresent, but who knows if you've heard of this, but it is said that Desico cannot be made. And while that is certainly true, they can be forged through pain and blood and torture. And I am proof of that. Not by my own choice, but I desire to make sure that no one else will have to go through that. And the one who did that to you seeks to make more like me. You and your friends all have your own goals. I have my own. I will not insert myself upon your goals or means without request. There are very few I concern myself with beyond my prey. So if you wish not to speak further, then I shall stick to mine, as long as you do not get in the way of my hunt. But if you wish for the resources and capabilities to become more than what you are now, and to gain the possible ability to at least point something more powerful than yourself in the direction of things you cannot fight, I'm sure you'll find a way to find me. And the fuzz kind of increases until it almost makes you wince, and just in that heartbeat of squinting your eyes against the intense sound, Morden, or the Desico of Mercy, is gone.
Woohoo. Did it.
Wahoo!
We won.
That's so crazy. One
I've
down.
survived. I've survived my encounter with the Desico of Christmas Mercy.
He's like the Desico of, like, Christmas presents, I would say.
Wow. I don't know what that means strictly, but fair enough. That's your dad?
Yeah.
I'm just getting involved with everyone's dads, aren't I? Is over here banging dads. I'm over here just in, like, terrible working relationships with everyone's dad.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to attempt to speak with one or two now?
Alright. We're getting down to Russian roulette territory, I think.
Uh-huh.
I know I got a coin around here somewhere. Yeah, I do.
You can tell
Alright.
Save to choose.
Alright. Call it, Savior. Heads or tails? Actually, I don't even think that really fits. Tails? Alright. I don't think it matters, like, what I... Alright, well, if it's tails, then you get to pick. If it's heads, I pick the opposite of whatever you were gonna pick. Which one are you gonna pick? One? Okay. I'm gonna be dead ass. I don't think this has a heads or a tails. It is a peso. Need another coin. I don't have money on me. I'm gonna have it flip a coin. I'm just gonna tell Google. It was tails. Alright, number one it is.
Alrighty. Let me grab... Where is it?
I feel like this music would play in the background of, like, a Courage the Cowardly Dog episode. It really gives me a Courage the Cowardly Dog vibes. To be fair, the second one there was at least a good anime. I knew that one. Nichijou, what a banger.
Here we go. Could be so pink. Oh, that's wrong command. Play.
Uh-oh, sisters, I picked wrong. Or Savior picked wrong, technically.
This isn't Moon, don't worry.
Oh, okay. I heard, like, the vague sound of a siren, and I was like, oh shit, I lose.
um, as you are kind of like pulled from here, uh, and you kind of briefly recognize the resuming of time. Hearing your friends discussing that, oh yeah, there's some food in the kitchen, like, let's step into there. Um, there's a faint laugh behind you, just like a gentle. uh, and standing again in the dark corner, kind of staring at where Morden had just been, is a pale person in flowing white blue robes that you've seen before. You know to be called a veil. And again, I will briefly paste their image if it will copy. And I
Man,
will
it's all
delete.
inscription soundtracks.
Yeah, because that's the vibe I wanted for tonight.
No, I respect that. I can't tell if it's an affectionate punch or not. It's all right. We'll figure it. We'll deal with it.
um, but a veil kind of tilts their head at you. Shoshen, it seems you had a visitor. I tried to come and speak with you, and you were occupied. I didn't quite manage to catch who it was, though. Are you courting others as well as myself?
I've I'm examining my options, considering um, you know, fairly important decision to make.
Interesting. And is there another you would consider courting? And they kind of step more into your space, giving you like a, I don't know if this is the right word, a languid smile. That sounds correct. I can't remember.
Yeah,
Like a lounging cat, you know?
yeah, I get you. Maybe we'll see how things go, I suppose. I don't really get how you're all recognizing that I'm in the looks for things, but
You reached
it's
out for us, after all.
yeah, I suppose. Um, oh, okay. So your domain, what is that exactly?
Hmm. The other you spoke with, did they tell you theirs?
Well, it's only been one other so far, and he told me that his was
He.
Mercy.
Oh, young Mercy. An interesting one. A bit of a troublemaker, I'd say. Isn't content to go with the flow. I'd be careful with that one. I doubt he realizes it, as he does not pay attention much to what lies outside of his interests, but it'll be interesting to see that play out. But most times it is considered frowned upon to be so open as to your connections, your attribute or domain, as you said. But I'm happy to tell you, Shoshen. Um, I control the domain of justice, of fairness.
Mm-hmm. Well, forgive me for my misstep, I suppose. I'm not exactly familiar with how your people do things. Um, but I guess what what are you trying to do in short?
Well, look around you, Shoshen. So many little people, and there are beings such as myself who contain so much power. It is, frankly, terrifying. After all, I remember when I was, as long ago as it was, a mortal myself, how terrifying that discrepancy is. And I am of the opinion that that divide, that danger should be corrected when possible. And those who would cause problems, mainly Desco, need to be kept in line. Sadly, it doesn't help much to attempt to kill a Desco, as then that attribute will simply find a new host, which then just puts us back to square zero. So it is a balancing act of finding either an agreement that will keep them in check, doing little to no damage, or finding some other means of protecting those they might harm.
That's not really justice then, is it?
It is fairness. Sadly, there can be no true fairness in the difference between a mortal and a Desico, but I endeavor to be that fairness. The balancing force, if you will. I am not one side of the scale, I am the scale.
Insight that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I use my silly little bonus I get from my feet?
Which part specifically?
I get a +5 to. I know insight's underneath the umbrella for that.
Mm-hmm. Uh, I can't remember. Is it +5 just in general or like in specific circumstances? I cannot
We
recall.
double check. Find it. I have to tussle with D&D Beyond for a moment.
I'm so sorry, King.
No, you're so good, don't worry. Yeah, I know. Let me see it. Okay. I can attempt to accurately recall or discover pertinent information.
All
I'm
right.
attempting to discover pertinent information in this case.
Yeah, you can add the +5 on top of it.
Yeah. because it's investigate, insight, perceive, history,
Mm-hmm.
nature, religion, arcana, etc. Or another one that you agree suits the occasion.
Slay.
All right, manifest. I need that ring. Esmond, email me that ring right now. I need it. Send your fastest pigeon, my boy. You're not gonna believe this, my friend. I did
What?
roll a natural 20, so that's gonna be a
Hey
32
yo.
to deter to determine this man's insight.
Jesus. What part specifically are you inciting?
I guess, are they bullshitting me about, like, are they bullshitting me in the regards of, like, I guess twofold. So for one, like, is that legit? Like, their their thing? And then are they serious about being like, yeah, I'm the guy in the middle between Desico and regular guy. I'm cool and based as a result of that.
Huh. Alright, so as to the second part, you know, is Avail being genuine about what they think of as their position in this conflict. Yeah, it's it's kind of a foggy area of, you know, are they that? Do they believe they're that? They at least believe, from what you can tell, that they're doing their best to be that. And they completely believe that they are that. That they are the middle, the force that is attempting to even the fields.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if, of course, you'd have to, like, look at other people's opinions to see how genuine that is, but they at least believe that they're telling the truth and that they are that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there is something there, though, an attitude about something that seems to linger from what was said earlier in the conversation. Uh, they called themselves Justice. And while you think they do think what they are doing is just, you don't think, as you correctly pointed out, that that's necessarily their attribute. They might think of themselves as justice, as fairness, but you think that that might not be the most accurate word for their attribute.
Yeah.
That is what you can
I mean,
discern.
approaching this from the standpoint of, like, any of these guys aren't gonna be like, yeah, I think what I'm doing is pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Like, of
With
course they're doing it because they think they're reasonable,
with that
you know?
20,
Like,
you are very sure that Avail is very aware that they're dancing around things, and they are very much doing it on purpose. Not wanting to discuss certain aspects.
all right, fair enough. Um, you say that, and I'm I'm pretty good at determining if someone isn't saying all there is to something. So you're more than welcome to expand on that a little bit. Um, Otherwise, I'm not trying to be involved with things that are going to potentially be a more of a detriment to myself than anything I'm going through currently.
Well, as I'm sure you can understand, there's only so much I can say as to keep myself safe. You are still connected with certain groups after all. But well, at least of the one you've already mentioned, Mercy, I am by far the better option for what you're looking for.
How would you know what I'm looking for then?
Hmm. You want out of the Thorn Band. Mercy is not out nor in. Mercy has worked alongside them, has worked against them, will do whatever it takes to achieve what he wants. And I would hate for you to get caught up in something like that. Myself, on the other hand, I'm more than able to keep you separated. And of course, I am, not to sound like I'm bragging, but I'm far more powerful than Mercy. After all, I'm one of the two that created Mercy. Mercy will tell you all sorts of horror stories about the process, but sometimes you need to make something that is able to hunt Desico. I had to even the playing field somehow, and Mercy has created that means of doing so.
For all your talk of being the person between Desico and people, you do seem awfully keen on pushing how much more powerful you are than the other one I spoke to.
It is simply a fact. Like I said, I don't mean to boast, but, well, it's simply a fact. Mercy talks a big talk, but, well, he's certainly capable of looking out for himself, and maybe his closest acolyte, but who knows how that starts to pan out once you add a third to the mix.
So he's got someone else currently as well.
Has got, did have. Today's a bit of a chaotic day for him. It's a shame, really. Styx did good work from what I saw.
I see. So, what would you want from me, I suppose?
Well, as you see, if this had been a slightly different situation, I would not have said no to a set of eyes on the inside of the Thorn Band. But, as I said, I would not put you in that position, as that is not what you are currently desiring, correct?
Correct.
Then you've had access to a few different Desico right now. I would not ask you to do something such as hunt them or fight them or anything of the sort. Just an introduction would suffice, or even as simple as telling me where I myself could look. There are some of my kind that I've met who are perfectly amiable to working together. Or at least ceasing their more dangerous activities. And, well, those who you point me towards that aren't agreeable to ceasing the danger they cause, then a little word gets to Mercy. And he is more than capable of taking care of the problem.
So why not just go with Mercy then?
Because Mercy will ask you to hunt alongside him. And Mercy doesn't like to think about the gray area. To him, it is a very easy decision to make when it comes time to make that call. But I believe in the gray. I believe in the complicatedness of a situation. And I wouldn't punish innocents for situations they accidentally end up in.
But if you're justice, then shouldn't it be easy for you to determine?
Do you think justice is black and white?
I think if justice is going to happen, then it has to choose.
But there's degrees of what to choose, are there not?
To an extent.
To an extent.
A choice still has to be made, though, doesn't it?
And yet, some would say that just fraternizing with a dangerous Desico should be punished. Maybe sometimes that's the case, but not always. After all, Nemesis has certainly had some courting of his own.
I'm aware.
Are you aware that he seeks wrath? Actively, even now.
I'm not sure it would surprise me.
And did you know? Fuck me. They step closer, almost looking past you for a moment. You didn't know his name, did you? The big one who came and destroyed your home. And instantly you feel she, prickles along the nape of his neck, all the fur standing up at being directly addressed. If you want to know who destroyed your home, who killed those you took care of before, dear Shoshen here, look no further than Wrath. And yet, Shoshen, could you blame Nemesis for wanting to reconnect with Wrath if it could save someone like he's trying to do? Yes, he is attempting to consort with a very, very dangerous and violent individual, but, well, shades of gray and all that.
So what makes you better than the band, then? If they want to dictate how people are consorting with Desico and preventing the destruction of, I guess, the rest of this.
I think you can see much as myself that there are cases when the Thornband is right. There's plenty of them where they're also wrong. Again, shades of gray. And I don't believe in handling things with such an abrupt and decisive hand as you saw earlier. Understanding all sides of a scale takes time, thought, and planning. And that was certainly not a very thought out execution. Don't you agree?
I don't think it was supposed to be anything besides Murkstone's revenge quest.
And do you think that's justice?
I don't, but I think it's difficult to find much of that in the world we live in, considering.
It is a complicated subject. And as I just said, one needs time to think about both sides of a scale. And the little birdie tells me that the other side of the scale is coming stalking. You're holding
I'm sure.
quite a court of visitors today, Shoshen. I wish you luck. And with that, a veil turns as if to leave, and you see a flicker of movement. This kind of in the shadow, the darkest point of it, there is a shifting of the black, of added color of movement, like an oil spill across night water. And for a moment you swear you see a face with neon eyes that kind of gestures for a veil to step through. And with one last look at you, a veil does so, and the shadow returns to normal.
Oh, that guy was silly terrible.
As um, as you are kind of left in quiet for a moment, considering what you have just experienced, what you've been told by now two parties.
Oh, sisters, it's real this time. I was scared about it the last two times, but now it's real. Now it's happening. Or serious, unfortunately.
Now it's for realsies.
Now it's legit. We found the bullet in the chamber, everyone. Not to worry.
You feel the prickle of warning of your instincts on edge, even before you're aware of what's wrong. Someone is standing over your shoulder, unmoving. The corner is darker than you remember it to be. Something about it, there's a smell that Shoshen doesn't know the word for, but the intensity, the sharpness, Ned, you would consider it to be gunpowder. There's the feeling of hot metal lingering in the air, a freshly fired gun. And you know who it is, without seeing anything. And she stays behind you, at your shoulder, just the darkest shadow out of the corner of your eye. It is silent for a few moments before she speaks. Well, little mouse. Seems like you're casting about for some friends. Not happy with what you found, are you?
It's, I gotta say, your kind really does like to make things complicated.
I'm not about the complication. After all, that's why dear old Vale went running when they heard me coming. No one wants to be by when dread comes knocking after all. Except for apparently you. Why are
I've
we...
had
Go ahead.
quite a bit of that lately, so
Hmm. 3 nights ago, why'd you come sniffing about for me, little mouse? With the help of your ghost speaker. I heard you snooping about.
well, you see, the situation I've gotten myself in, um, I guess, as you already knew, um, I am presently a member of the Thorn Band, and I am seeking to change that.
Hmm. There is a shifting of fabric, a creak of leather, and you see not her initially, but her shadow move along the wall. And you're logically aware that she's shorter than you. And yet, the presence fills the room, looms over you in a way that makes you feel unbearably small. And with the shift of the light, you see the dark leathers, the beaten face, gray black hair, as the dread leans against the wall across from you, cocking her hip with her arms crossed. So what? Another one comes running to me, begging for a way out of the big bad thorn band. What's your bargaining chip, mouse?
I'm not sure I have one, considering um, most of what I've got is I don't have much, and it's more a case of seeing if there's, I guess, any way out of any of this. Because the alternative is at this point, I think, me and all of my friends possibly dying. I guess not that you would care about that necessarily, given you already killed one of them, but I suppose that's different. And I guess I was kind of hoping that any of the Desico I reached out to would maybe just be willing to help in terms of, I guess it's a little bit of a hard sell, to really, like, given the people I've talked to, uh, today, I guess, or what it's like, um, being, I guess, someone in a more powerless position. that's looking to get some more of their own agency, guess, without
Shh.
having to go through the venues of whatever machinations are going on with the other two I spoke to.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm not particularly interested in their machinations, but the word help used in the same sentence as Desico. Ironic. Sure, there's some fools out there who will help you for nothing at all, but in your position, they're gonna stay far away from you, Mouse. You spell danger to them. Only the more brazen ones are gonna come knocking at your door right now. I can smell them. Two of the more annoying ones. Thankfully, they know better than to get in my way. Killing one of your friends, though, doesn't particularly have to do with you. Any of you. Just the one. I had to make sure I was seeing things right. And I was. Here's the thing to remember, little mouse. Most Desico, at least the ones powerful enough to actually be able to help you, aren't gonna do nothing for you on just a, oh, pretty please help me, I need some assistance. They don't want to mess around with foresight after all. That's a death sentence to most. Me, though, I like stealing from the old fuck. Wouldn't hurt to grow my collection some. And I won't even ask for you to do nothing. At least not right now. I don't like doing trades and business and deals and plots. If I ask you to do something, you can decide in the moment if it's for you or not. I'm not gonna hinge my help on you helping me in return. Kinda senseless to me. The thing to keep in mind, though, is that once you agree to align yourself with a Desico's powers, whether you know it or not, it affects you. Why, your previous allegiance has already affected you plenty. You got a sharp eye after all, don't you? You understand people. You notice things. He's already rubbed off on you. And he would only continue to do so if you stuck around.
I
You,
think sticking around at this point would be more of a detriment to me than anything else, considering
and do you think aligning yourself with me would be a plus?
let me ask you this. Um, you said yourself that you're not trying to make me do anything, um, compared to Thornband, that I am only really getting, I guess, part of it, and the rest Um, I just don't really agree with how they're trying to approach what they want. Um, I think it's, I suppose, a noble cause to try and stop the world from ending again, if that is indeed all of it. But there's too much else that they're doing, I think, that outweighs any of that.
A lot of chit chat, not a lot of answers from you.
That and the, I suppose, superfluous nature of public executions
I
kind of
don't,
thing.
I don't particularly have an opinion on all that. Didn't particularly pay attention either. It's a bit preoccupied. Shoshen, I've broken one of you little thorns free of the bush before. It ain't pretty. It might get you the final means that you're looking for, but you align yourself with dread. You're signing yourself up to be a monster. She kind of tilts back, and you can see more of her face from under her wide brim. And she smiles, all needle sharp fangs more than there should be. You think you're ready to be a monster? You think you got what it takes?
I'm, if I'm going to be a monster, in your words, if anything, I'd rather it be towards the people I choose or things I choose.
See, that's picking and choosing. That's plotting and machinations. I don't do that shit. And my people don't either. Not because they choose to, but because when you catch a whiff of fear, you're not gonna let it go. It doesn't matter who fears you as long as someone does. You don't have time to think about the who's and the what's and the ifs. Whose side is that person on? Why are they doing that? It doesn't matter. You've smelled blood in the water. And you're fucking hungry. If you're hemming and hawing about the what's and the why's and the how's, oh, honey, you don't got what it takes to be a monster. I have hopes that maybe you could shape up to be a bit more prepared of what my power does to a person, but I suppose you're a bit more of a domesticated dog than a wolf, after all, huh?
I'm not sure I really want to be as indiscriminate as anything you're asking. I can understand it to an extent, but I'm not sure it's.
Honey, I'm not asking. I'm warning. When you sign yourself up for power, Even for a temporary deal, it's gonna affect you.
And I suppose none of this would. You wouldn't. You said you were done with my friends and our math and everything.
And I'm not. Maybe you consider the one I'm after a friend. You shouldn't. I'm not interested in the rest of y'all, though. Do what you like.
But still, there's Esmond,
Right.
who is the
That's what he
person
named him.
that I'm. Do you have some kind of history that I'm?
That's a strong word. History. That's a bit weak in this context. I had to have a scent to start from to find him after all. Esmond. Awfully bold, naming himself after his father. Where's my tribute? What? Is his middle name Esperanza or something?
So you're the one I've heard about, not from him. I don't know what his middle name is. I've just heard the name Esperanza thrown around
Hmm.
a bit.
That was my name once upon a time. You're not gonna get a good reaction if you try to call me by it.
That's fine. It's not really what I was going for. Um, I guess. Well, I suppose you would know. A veil wasn't really giving me everything, I suppose, in terms of their aspects. So, do you have any further information on any of that? Or,
To steal a metaphor from someone far more wordy than I, one made many, many years ago at this point, but a veil considers themselves a scale, yeah?
that's more
Now,
or less what they said.
that may be true. It's up to your point of view, I suppose, but a veil doesn't keep the scales even by adding counterbalances or any of that fancy shit. They keep it by holding the scale and holding it exactly how they like it. Because they ain't fairness or justice or looking out for anyone but themselves. Or rather, what they think is fairness and justice. I was there when a veil was made, after all. A veil is none of that bullshit. Their control.
Hmm. That, I suppose, would make sense given how they came off.
If you're looking for someone to hem and haw about the rights and the wrongs,
Oh, sorry.
you're fine. If you're
Oh my
looking
God, the
for
ASMR.
if you're looking for someone to hem and haw about the rights and the wrongs, then I suppose control is the one you'd want to talk to. But I'm not particularly interested in giving my opinions. You do what you like. I've got my wolf, and, well, if I need another, maybe I'll come by and check how you're coming along, how fed up you are with the thinking and the hemming and hawing. When you're ready to lose it, rip and tear and chase, I'll come and find you. I'm sure my other dog will be glad for the company.
Yeah, I think we're friends, actually.
Cute way of putting it. I think she had hopes that maybe you would find me on your own. It doesn't seem like it's looking that way, though, huh?
I'm still kind of about the thinking about things. That's kind of why I'm trying to leave the band, is the issue. I'd rather not trade one practice of destruction without thinking for another.
Your call. But the path you're going down now, you're gonna have some encounters with that line of thinking, whether I'm involved or not. So, Shoshen Quietus, the wolf who will not bite, I bid you farewell. She dips her hat to you, just the slightest bits, and she turns with a swagger in her step and this screech that builds like metal dragging across something. And she steps out into the hallway. And the servants who are passing by don't seem to notice her. But as she passes by them one by one, they seem to shiver at something unnerving in the air and unconsciously step out of her way. And you watch for a few moments as she walks down the hall and disappears around a corner.
Well, anyone else wanna tell me something terrible in this dark corner? Or do I just get a,
Shoshen's job fair.
man, this sucks. I'm losing. This job fair really got hands. I appreciate she was straightforward. She was straight up with me, though.
Mm-hmm.
I assume. She seemed straight up, considering, you know. I respect that.
Do you do
I'm
anything else,
doing the
Shoshen?
thinking. Man, I'm a pretty decisive person. I honestly think that it probably wouldn't take her to come up with, or it would probably not take her to like come to a decision either.
Mm-hmm.
Um, can I call back Mercy?
Just like job
See,
callback.
just be like, hey man, lo thanks for the interview. I'd love to like get a follow-up on that. You seemed at least like I'm gonna go make you do shit you don't want to do. He was just like, man, I'll help you out. I love to fight God. Man, I'll help you fight God. I don't want to do it. I'll help you though.
So true, so true. Um, you try to call on Mercy. Uh, Mercy is, by this point, technically busy with something else. Um, but you feel a prickle across your skin, an uncomfortableness, and a certainty. Uh, and you know that his eyes are on you. Um, and hey, we can do this in a bit of a different order if you two want.
Us too want.
Hold on. I messaged you things, Savior. You good? You good for that, Savior?
Yeah, I think it's funny.
All right. Uh,
Afraid now.
Shoshin, you're kind of, you know, at briefly at a loss of like, my man, you just said you were interested and now you're not answering me and you're apparently busy.
He's
Hello.
screening your
Unbelievable. This is just like
calls.
Unbelievable.
job search.
It's just like
um,
Indeed.com.
Just
and
like LinkedIn.
that feeling of like unnaturalness kind of seems to approach, and for a moment you think it's him, and you see a flicker of him walking down the hall, but he's not completely there. But he is walking with somebody, talking quietly to them, giving instructions of where to go. Uh, and Savior, do you want to describe who he is speaking with?
Ned, you know Stigmata?
I heard of
Give
her.
us a better introduction than that.
I did her introduction when
Yeah,
when in the
true.
game. Ned
True.
knows.
Yeah, we're
I've
doing it
seen
a
pictures. I've known for a while.
we're doing it a bit out of order, Ned.
We're retconning.
We're
Okay.
retconning. You know how it be.
All right. I already knew her. Everyone else was like, man, who's this chick that just walked in? Man, I've been new.
Yeah,
I
you
know
brought
her.
her
You guys
into
are
the room.
fucking late.
Yeah. Um, but you catch Morden's eye, and he seems to like almost make a chin gesture, of you looking at you, Shoshin, towards Stigmata, for a reason you're not entirely sure at the moment.
All right, man. Well, oh, this is so complicated. All right.
Mrs. has to approve.
His kid has
Oh,
to approve.
Exactly. His daughter.
gonna inherit the family. Gonna inherit the family business someday. You gotta know what
Exactly,
decisions I'm
exactly.
making. I guess just kind of vaguely uncomfortably walk up to these two people. You know me. I'm
Are you wearing your
super
armor?
good at introductions. Yeah, well, I
So
mean,
it's just like
I assume.
clang, clang, clang.
Actually, how long has it been since, like, well, no, I probably would just stay in my armor considering, gotta
Danger
keep an
lurks
eye
on
out
every
for,
corner.
yeah, sometimes your old job wants to stab you a little bit, maybe.
Maybe.
They got kind of cucked out of an execution, they might want to do another one. Who can say? So, I'll I'll keep my armor on, I guess. Yeah, clang up to these two people.
Morden's invisible, right?
Largely in
Largely.
largely intangible.
Okay.
But you can feel his presence at your shoulder.
Okay. I imagine that she's just kind of talking under her voice to herself, but like actually not to herself, more so like at Morden.
Mm-hmm.
When Shoshen walks up, and so when she does, her face is kind of to the ground because she's trying to be a little bit subtle, with her escape from her mother.
Mm-hmm.
So sudden kind of looming shadow. Uh, she kind of pauses and does a little jolt upright because, oh, there's a person in front of me. I have no eyes. Uh, and looks up at the quite tall, imposing, I would say, probably,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Yeah.
form of Shoshen and just smiles. Like this kind of nervous, like, haha, can I help you kind of smile.
You do vaguely recognize glimpses of this person's face as having carried you at some point. You're not sure the context, but.
Right, yeah, I was out of it. I was fucking zooted.
Mm-hmm.
She also looks nervous, so it's just,
It's just two nervous
two guys.
gals.
Yeah,
Two guys
guys,
in a
guys
hallway.
here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When your parent makes you make friends with the new kid, it
Yeah.
says, "All right, I'm putting you guys in a room together. Make friends."
Uh, hello? Oh, right, I made that bargain with you, didn't I?
No, it's okay. You do
Okay.
you.
Thanks,
You
Ned.
live your truth.
Thank you.
Hi.
Uh, I mean no disrespect. This is a very large, wide hallway.
Oh, I was, trying to talk to him, um, and I kind of vaguely gestured to your ghost dad, I
I
guess.
guess that's right.
Your
She
ghost
kind
dad.
of like stands up a little straighter. And like does like a really sidelong glance at Morden.
He's watching you expectantly to see what you might say. Just like raises a slow eyebrow at you.
I didn't realize he was receiving company.
Oh, sorry if I'm being, if you want some space.
No,
I can.
if if it is his intention to talk to you, then or for us to speak, what exactly is it that you want us to do, friend?
We spoken a bit, um, a little while ago about, um, my finding new, management, I guess, for lack of a better term. Trying to get away from my current, employers, if I can.
As Shoshin is speaking and explaining this to you, Stigmata, it's not often that this happens. What I'm about to describe, to be clear. Usually he just pulls you there, or something of the sort. It's not often that he lets you make the decision to go there, but you feel just the faintest brush against your elbow and become aware of an invisible door that is there, a cold doorknob pressing against your elbow. And you sense that Morden is no longer currently here and has instead gone to his space, where he is a bit more able to freely show up without scrutiny.
Yo, bust down that door.
Do you just, like, wordlessly swing it open in front of Shoshen, or?
Um, uh, if someone were to walk into this hallway and it actually wouldn't be that weird because we are just two people talking to each other. But if you wanted to step into my office,
Sure. Who are... Sorry, I should have introduced myself sooner.
uh, who am I?
Uh, yeah, I'm Shoshen. Sorry to not say that sooner.
No, no, uh, you're polite. uh, I am pending on a name right now, so give me a bit.
Oh, no problem.
I've just had a really weird week, I suppose.
I get that. Nope, you're okay. Don't worry. I just prefer to be at least somewhat polite when I'm entering the space of something or possibly multiple people that could kill me at their own whims.
Uh,
Um,
don't be worried about that at this current moment. I don't think that I could do much of anything to you. If I recall, it was not that long ago that you were carrying me through the hallways.
oh, yeah, no problem there. I mean, it's not like I could just, leave you, and I think Salvation did most of the work once I got you back here, so you're no problem.
She will open the door.
I go in the door, I
I also
suppose.
go in the door.
Slay, you pull on the doorknob and you see the door kind of materialize out of nowhere. It's kind of a janky looking, like, cabin door. And it swings open, and you both step through to what is initially a black space, but as the door closes with a click behind you, it slowly comes to warm firelight. Yes, Chimchar. As you've seen it before, Stigmata, it is a very simple room. Uh, a packed dirt and stone floor, small single room cabin. There is a table in the center of the room, a simple square table, with a large, wide bowl with some kind of silvery liquid in it, like liquid mercury. Uh, and Morden is on the other side of this bowl, kind of idly pacing, as if waiting for you two.
Do a little skip over. I do a little two-step.
Yeah, yeah, we're sitting down.
All right. Uh,
Yeah.
he watches you two enter with kind of like trying to appraise the situation, and gives a short nod. Right. I take that to mean that you are wishing to enter a form of partnership, yes?
Ideally, yes.
Alright. Breaking your deal won't be simple and quick, sadly. Or maybe for the better. If it were snapped abruptly, it would catch a lot of attention, after all. So first thing we need to do is cut off your receiving of said power. It will take longer for Foresight to notice that no one is on the receiving end anymore, as there will be a simple blockage in the way for a time until you are, I suppose the term is, I'm not sure what the right term would be, but one thing I know about the Thorn Band that I'm sure you can confirm, Shoshen, is that upon becoming a full-blooded member... Excuse me, sir, can I help you? Upon becoming a full-blooded member of the band, there is a ritual that takes place, which does involve your blood, correct?
Yes.
Well, let's just say I'm able to do a lot of things with the biological. And he flexes his wrist idly as if thinking about it. We need to do a little trade. Temporarily. Doesn't need to be much, but enough that it will block what you are receiving and will begin to introduce your presence to my power. So, Stigmata, if you could. He rolls up his sleeve and holds out his wrist to you.
So kind.
He's only let you do this, well, I don't think he has let you do this before.
No, he hasn't, because
No.
I wasn't before.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very.
Wait, here's the vibe. Here's the check. She looks at him and she's like,
Oh, what?
Do not recall.
It's sort of still all coming back to me.
With his other hand, he reaches down to his belt and without saying another word, pulls out a scalpel. I feel like the smell might bring some instincts to the forefront.
man.
And he turns his wrist so it's not too graphic. For no, like turns it towards himself so you don't watch the incision. But Stigmata, you smell it instantly. The warmth, the iron, and the very... It smells like a lovely home-cooked meal to you.
Yeah, I know.
And he again holds out the now slowly bleeding wrist to you.
She'll stare at it and then go,
Are you fucking kidding me?
and she'll go in for the snack.
Snack.
Megan, I gotta go. Go.
Okay. You.
No, wait, no. We can just.
We'll resume later.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
You,
My wife.
You're so
No.
valid, don't worry.
You bite your boss, and we shall resume later.
Okay, I bite my dad.
Wow.
Okay,
All right,
I'm
bye.
so sorry.
Bad.
I'll be
Bye.
back in like 30 minutes if
No
you're still awake. Bye.
No problem.
I'm sorry.
You're
I love
fine,
you. I love you.
I sadly will not be here in 30 minutes since I do
You're all
Absolutely,
good.
we have
Don't
to go to
worry.
bed. But we
Yeah.
can resume tomorrow. I'm gonna stop the recording here.
Yeah.